WIOD, playing tapes of Neil Rogers because jazz didn't make it.
And you know what? You got me talking on the passion phone. Tell me the story about how you got blown. I got you down. Yeah. Holy cow. I'll tell you once more before I hang up the phone. I got you down. The lines are jammed up. Yeah, there isn't a doubt. Call up and tell me what it's all about. I got you down. Yeah. Holy cow. I'll tell you once more before I hang up the phone. I got you down. 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 Here on the show, there's a new topic each night. Who'd you have sex with a black or with a white? I got you down. Yeah. Holy cow. I'll tell you once more before I hang up the phone. I got you down.
Floridian, Paul V. Schmutz.
Here's Miami on 1. Hello.
Hello, Neil?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Neil, I'm calling about that other guy who he was talking about something he read in a paper, and I'm surprised that you don't know about it. It's called the partial birth abortion bill. It's already passed.
I do know. What do you mean you're surprised I don't know about it? Don't you think I'll read the paper and watch the news? I saw the big thing on... I just mentioned the thing on CBS.
Yeah, that you never, do you believe what you hear and all this stuff? I mean, I thought you would have said, yeah, sure, I've heard about it, and that's what it is.
Yeah, so what about
it? It's true. I just wanted to know.
So who cares?
I'm just telling you, it's part of the liberal agenda to keep it quiet.
Part of the liberal agenda. Here we go, another Rush Limbaugh ass licker.
No, not
the
at
liberal
all.
agenda.
Not at all for Rush Limbaugh.
What's the liberal agenda? You want to tell me what that is?
I'm just 50-50, and I'm just going to...
What do you mean you're 50-50? Half man and half woman? What are you, a hermaphrodite?
I take the facts.
Well, go F yourself, okay? He ought to be able to do it. He's 50-50, he said. He's got one of these and one of those and one of them and one of these. He's half and half, right. Another one of these right to life. Go save somebody that's out there getting murdered right now and stop with the fetus crap already, will you? My God, these people that get all hung up because they get brainwashed. You see how this works?
Everybody who's for abortion was at one time themselves a feces.
Yeah, rest my case. And by the way, all those guys in Arizona they arrested this morning, all those people that were going to blow up all those federal buildings, it seems to me that those weren't part of the liberal agenda, were they? They were a bunch of skinhead right-wing lunatics, okay? Those are the people that you got to look out for, is those crazy right-wingers. The liberals, they're basically impotent and having a good time. Here's Hollywood. Hello?
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain something to me?
I doubt it, but I'll give it a shot. I'll make it up.
Anti-abortionists call themselves pro-lifers, correct?
Uh-huh.
Now, those same, quote, pro-lifers are typically anti-gun control.
Right.
Now, can you
but you're missing the point. They only care about nebulous life that doesn't exist yet. They only care about the fetus.
Why don't they?
Once you're out of the womb, man, you're on your own.
So they don't care about those 2 kids who were killed in the Pizza Hut yesterday, I assume.
No, and they don't care about the little girl that got shot by Daddy's gun while he was diddling with it in the bathroom.
Now, they'd rather sit there and blow up abortion clinics.
Right, there you go.
Nice.
Because the Lord told them to. They're another bunch of sick religious fanatic nuts.
Well, they're everywhere.
Brainwashed, man.
Did you see the article?
I've traveled all over the world, and I got news for you. There are no civilized countries. I mean, we got the Stone Age countries, but there are no civilized countries where the religionists have taken over and are as in much in control as what goes on as they are here. This is one of the most intolerant countries anywhere in the world.
I think religion in...
the damn pilgrims are rolling in their graves from what's going on here.
Did you see the...
and look at how liberal they were.
See the letter
to themselves.
The letter to the editor from the UM law professor about the Blades case?
No.
Basically, he said that, in a nutshell, Judge Lebo did the right thing under the law.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, it gets better. But ultimately, Brian Blades will have to be judged in the court of God's law.
Oh, here we go. That's right. Let's wait for God to do it. So let's let all the people out there, the murderers and the manslaughter guys, let's let them all just out there to play football and make millions of dollars because God eventually will take care of that.
Exactly.
That's great.
Yeah.
So if we could only bring Hitler back to life, we could let him wander around out there, too, and wait to meet his maker.
Scary, Neil.
Or he could go to Monticello and meet Marvin Maker. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Have a great life. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how's it going, Neil?
Okay.
Hey, I was calling on the topic of religion.
Yeah.
I've been listening for a few years, and I called it several times over the past 2-3 years, and I graduated from a Catholic high school.
Uh-huh.
And I was reading this spin article by a writer who does some freelance work for the Times, and she's a spin staff writer. And it deals essentially with the celibate priests and the Post's view on it.
Father O'Toole. God.
I was about to say, I had quite a few Father O'Tooles at my school, although they never came out and actually assaulted you. I mean, just from, the lists and the touch on the shoulders. And these were actually teachers.
Yes.
But ironically, the first time I ever listened to you was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I had actual normal teachers and priests.
Yeah.
Normal as in normal who are in priests, who were, into little boys, if you will, at that time. 14 to the age of 18. And actual normal teachers, and that was the first time I listened to. And just to get you a few quotes, she spoke. She went to the Vatican, spoke to several leading scholars and monsignors about celibacy and priests and lack of it. And just to read you a couple of quotes, it said 2% of Catholic priests going to perpetual celibacy achieve it, and anywhere from 30 to 60% are gay. Now, this
very conservative estimate.
Yeah, no,
I'd say 60 to 90%.
Yeah, it's not like an exact science. This is based upon their opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, and she says more than 1,000 resign every year to get married.
Mm-hmm.
And on the topic of Italy, since it's like your adopted home, one of the monsignors, because she quotes several people in the actual article, said one of the monsignors says that the Italian diocese has a fund to support priests' illegitimate children.
How do you like that?
Yeah, quite interesting. So
fantastic. Goes to show you, man, at the church, that Catholic church, they really got their head on straight. They got their beanie on straight.
They definitely got the head on.
Yeah, somebody's head.
Yeah, and in closing, I'd like to say, James Furtado, you're a douchebag.
Okay, pal.
Okay.
Hasta que your meet us.
In the 50s, Robert Young made people laugh, and Father Knows Best. Now, this great series is back, starring a few Catholic priests who like it young, in the return of Father Knows Best.
Step into the confessional, Billy. I don't know, Father. This makes the 47th time I've been in there this week.
Oh, Billy, you want to be a good Catholic, don't ya?
Yeah, but does everybody get a spanking?
Father Knows Best. It's the Vatican's best-kept secret, and you've got a private seat for all the fun. Just enter the rectory from the rear.
All right, Billy boy, it's time for your flute lesson.
But, Father, your flute has only one hole, and it doesn't make any noise.
Oh, it will, Billy. It will.
Father Knows Best. Once you've seen this new sitcom, you'll wonder why you've never heard about it.
Let me introduce you to St. Peter.
Father Knows Best. Going to church may not seem very entertaining, but there really is something funny going on here.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? It's Father and Son Day here at the ballpark, so please let's have a round of applause for the fathers who brought their young boys to the game. Father Dominic, Father O'Toole, Father Sebastian, Father Matthias.
A lot of masturbation went on.
Here's a lady in the Gables. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
This is, well, I can't say my name because I don't want two football players coming in and busting down my door and beating me up.
Okay.
As you can guess, I go to UM.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
And I kind of agree with you because all I have to say is you can recruit the athlete from the inner city, but you can't take the inner city out of the athlete. That's pretty much it.
Is that it?
That's it.
Well, how come we can't get some athletes who have a brain,
It's too hard to balance.
Oh.
The muscle and the brain. You got to pick one.
Yeah, they're working on the wrong muscle.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I think Michael Irvin's problem was. He was working too much on the wrong muscle.
Oh, yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
Okay, good luck, sweetheart.
All right, thanks, Neil.
Thanks.
Bye.
But like I said, the American public is numb. They have been desensitized to anything, no matter what it is. The stories you see on the news, if we saw these stories 15, 20 years ago, we would have said, boy, that's just unbelievable. Now it's just business as usual. You know, guy kills the kid with the grandma, 41-year-old grandma, strangles the kid, puts her in a freezer. Guy's going in with his little piece in the bathroom. He's playing with his new play toy, his gun, and it goes off, and bada bing, I didn't know the gun was loaded. His 10-year-old kid is dead. And on and on and on and on. It just never stops. That's America for you, baby. And the public says, hey, we can handle anything. We don't care. We're indifferent. We're actively apathetic. It's not just a Florida thing. It's an American thing.
The ultimate in radio frequency weaponry. WIOD, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. News, talk, and entertainment radio. 610 WIOD.
It's big, Neil. It's bigger than both of us.
So there's Cass on the ground, and I'm singing to her, and then I have to do Cole Wilkinson, who's about to sing Danny Boy. Oh. Now be quiet. I'm going to sing Danny Boy. Oh.
Oh, my God. Oh.
Problem. Big problem.
You got. This is too much.
Those things are stop and go, stop and go.
Oh, please stop it. Just stop it.
Okay, and how about this thing with the Pizza Hut shooting? Did you see that? Not only did the second worker die after a 2-day fight for life, it says in a headline, but one of the murderers, one of these scumbags that did the shooting, was living at their house because he had no. You didn't see that? His good friend had lived with Preston. What the hell is this guy's name? Clyde Kane Preston, who shot him, had lived with Jackson and his mother when he had no other place to go. So as a reward, he comes back, and he and his pal, partner in crime, they hold up the place, and they shoot and kill this guy and the other guy. You talk about scum. You talk about the trash of the earth, man. This is just, but hey, nobody cares about it. Like I said, why the hell should I? Nobody gives a crap, because human life in America, it's like stepping on a roach after somebody else smoked it. So, what can you tell you? Just more scum out there all over the place. And that, you know, I was saying to Rick on the way out, which they ran out of here like, I can't blame them. But, that thing about people's aromas and people body odor and stuff. Now, if this was any place but here, but a parochial hick town like Miami, every line on the board, we'd have a 40-hour conversation on that because it's true. It's not something I made up. It's the truth. But because most of you, a big outing, like if you live in South Miami, a big outing is maybe up to, the Dade-Broward line. Or if you live in, like, Coral Gables, a big outing is a trip to the Sawgrass. And that's it. That's the extent of, like, where most of these people have been. And especially at this time of the year, because most of the people that do get around and go somewhere, guess what? They're wherever the hell they go. And more power to them. And I wish I was there wherever the hell it is. By the way, the best-smelling people are Colombians. Oh, man. What does that mean?
I have never smelt a Colombian.
Oh, I'll tell you one thing, though. You don't necessarily want to get too close. But, man, especially in Medellin. But, boy, they sure smell good. They got that smooth, silky tan with that olive complexion, you know. We get a fax here. Finally, we got somebody out there. Her name is Nirvana, allegedly. She probably dances up the street. It says the main reason people smell strange to each other is because it was nature's way to preserve the purity of the races. It starts in the olfactory part of the nose. It starts in the olfactory. Boy, can you imagine what they smell like in the olfactory? White people smell like wet dogs to black people. Black people smell like death to whites. It's just the way it is, baby, is what she say. That's the reason I would never date a black man, says Nirvana. The smell is overwhelming to me, she says. And she also goes on to say, I love my Colombian boyfriend. How do you like that? You are so right to say that they smell and taste as sweet as honey. And I eat every morsel of his white, silky, hard flesh, she says. Willie feels exactly... Willie? What kind of a... Is that wet Willie? Feels exactly like I do about the smell of... is she saying grajo? Is that what she's saying? Yuck, she says. Hi, Willie, I love you and I'm hungry, baby. And that's what she says, and I'm thinking the same thing. Thanks for letting me release my true, etc. Okay, Nirvana, sweetheart. The good stuff is starting to come in on the fax now, baby. Here's one. We got two pieces of crap. Here's one that says, no substantial worth to moron on the air. From some asshole at Panasonic Fax Systems, by the way, with no phone number on their thing. They probably can't afford one. Do you ever think before you speak? I enjoyed your Panthers commentary, which is when I was first introduced to you. However, since I found you to be a moronic butthead, you ridicule people before they speak. Are you afraid of a real challenge? Jerk off. You know, my son watches this cartoon, Pinky and the Brain. Pinky and the Brain? In one episode, the Brain is a comedian who spews insults. Obviously, your show is a comedy. It ends like in mid-sentence because they couldn't afford enough paper or whatever. Unsigned, of course. Unsigned at Panasonic Fax Systems, wherever the hell they are. See, that's another one of those jackasses who thinks we're going to sit here and talk hockey every day or talk caca. Good. Get lost. We don't want your type, okay? We don't want your kind with no sense of humor. And yes, the answer is I don't ever think before I speak. I don't get paid to think. I get paid to sit here and be a jackass and do a great job of it, okay? And by the way, I just put a big, big fat check into my wallet, okay? How you doing? Here's one from some malcontent at Carolina Mountain Water in Palm Beach County, no less, where we don't get calls, of course, most of the time from them. But this idiot's belly aching and again signed someone with something to say who couldn't get through but don't have the balls to put a name on here, even if I made one up. Sorry, I've been too busy to call. From my perspective, your ratings numbers were down for only one reason. You've always believed that chronic callers were the kiss of death for a talk show, and you're right. However, there were days I couldn't listen, but it wasn't the chronics or the hockey talk. It was the giveaway beggars. Day after day of tickets, medallions, hats, rats, shirts, posters, and on and on and on and on. Hello, Neil. Your show is great. Can I have Panther tickets? Hey, Neil, I'm a woman who listens. Give me the tickets. Oy vey, it says here. Oy! I think I'd rather listen to the Dennistville carts for 4 hours. Oh, the Dennistville card. Yeah, we got that. Then the fake callers from that couple of months. Please, I beg you, leave the giveaways to Rick and Suds. And then it says, oh! Signed someone, something. Yeah, okay. Couldn't get through my ass, man. You can get through on this station right about these days in a half a second. We have an open line right now in Dade County. Look at that. If you cared enough to send your very best, you just don't have the balls to do it, that's all. You got something important to say? Let's hear it. I agree with you about those schnorrers out there. Nobody hates that worse than I do. But hey, when you got a bunch of... Huh? Except George, because then he's got to write down all the names and numbers and shoe size and breast and penis sizes and address all the envelopes and put a bunch of crap in it. It's a time-consuming bunch of garbage. And 99% of the people never even have the decency to call back and say, hey, I got your crap in the mail. Thank you so much.
But the 10% who do are very nice.
Then the 10% who do, we do appreciate. But the other 90%, to you too, okay? There's a good intellectual comment for you. Who wants some substance, okay? If you want substance, turn on Mr. Ego. He'll give you another one of his diatribes about how everybody who's liberal, everybody who's to the left of Attila the Hun should be shot immediately, if not sooner, because Rick Siderman converted him into an immediate self-hating Nazi, or whatever the story is over there. Turn on that dreck for about 5 minutes, and then you'll come racing back here like your life depended on it. That's how fast you'll be back. I love these people who dislike whatever it is that we're doing, but instead of just finding something else to listen to, something to watch, some other occupation, some hobby, Russian roulette, Parcheesi, whatever it is, yanking themselves, whatever it might be, instead of doing that, they got to give us a big song and a dance, take time out of their very, very busy lives to let us know how upset they are, as if we really care. We don't care. And right now, the way things are in this joint, we especially don't care. Dade lines all open. They must be busy in Dade, boys, setting off firecrackers in those stores, or maybe they're just shooting guns. That's another thing the rednecks love to do in 4th of July, is they go out there and they shoot their guns. They shoot them bullets up in the air, and of course, what did that take? About 75 shows on Rick and Suds about what happens to the bullet when you shoot it straight up in the air and how long does it take to come down, and you know what I'm saying? Here's Hollywood. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Happy 4th.
Back to you.
How are you?
Great.
Did you have any idea that Jim Mandich was a gonad-licking queer?
And you notice he says it real quick and he hangs up like we don't know that already. I mean, what do you get so nervous about? Everybody knows that.
It's the best of Neil Rogers.
Well, all right, sports fans.
The rumors are still rampant at WIOD as to who will do what shift. Yeah. We're really not at liberty to say, but if you people are very perceptive, you'll pick up little clues. Now, here's our announcer to tell you more.
Rick and Suds, 2 to 6 p.m. on News, Talk, and Entertainment Radio. 610 WIOD. 610 WIOD. It's the Neil Rogers Show on tape, with all the mistakes removed.
Mexican cafe. While we were driving in my car, she let one go that almost blew us both away. I asked her, did you cut the cheese? shirt. I turned around to get her back, with just a matter of time before another attack. So I asked if she was okay. Then she looked at me, and all she had to say was, "Girls don't fart. Girls don't fart." She kept on telling me that girls don't fart, but I do. Girls don't fart. Girls don't fart. She kept on telling me that girls don't fart, but I do. But I do. But I do.
I'm for the sulking.
So I don't know nobody named Kirby Brooks. Am I supposed to know that? Hello?
Hi, Neil.
Yeah.
It's time for the Kirby Brooks Show on WINC Radio. All around Miami town, across the bay, winds radio way. It's time for the Kirby Brooks Show on WINC Radio. Hi, it's off the Biscayne Hotel on Biscayne Boulevard, overlooking Biscayne.
Who the hell are you?
It's the Kirby.
Nobody ever heard of you, Kirby. I don't know who you are.
Nobody does. I went off the air in 1958.
Like I said, did you work with Jerry Wichner?
Nobody worked with Jerry Wichner.
Yeah, I did.
Jerry Wichner was created in a studio.
So what's the story, Kirby? What are you trying to do? Make a comeback? Is that it?
I'm the only other live personality on the radio today besides
No, you're not. Live and personality, I think both were stretching it in your case, Kirby.
DKLW.
What are you doing? What station are you allegedly on?
Take 8.5 Mile Road to Gratiot, Marolas.
What station are you allegedly on, Kirby? What are you on? Acid? Yeah, right. Oh, my God. Another one of those Detroit rejects. Gratiot, 8.5 Mile Road, right. Oh, man. That was a good start. Like I told you, George, we're a couple of real suckers. I know, that opens up a lot of avenues there. That's our first call of the day. That should give you a real good idea what we have left in this town, okay? Real desperados. Never heard of I heard of Durwood Kirby. I've heard of Kirby Puckett. I heard of Mel Brooks and Garth Brooks and Babbling Brooks. I think that's what we just had, Babbling Brooks. Here's a lady in Fort Lauderdale. Hello?
Neil.
Yes.
Hi, guy.
Is this a lady?
It's a bear in Fort Lauderdale. I just have a low voice, okay?
It's a what?
It's a bear. B-A-E-R, so you have to like me, okay?
Bear what?
Bear, last name.
Bear ass, yeah.
The German Jew. Yeah, well, we just have to bend over. My only thing is, can we forget Independence Day? God bless America. It's over, please.
It's over?
I am over.
You're bent over? Well, don't drop the soap, sweetheart.
I just heard you talk to Boynton, and you said if somebody bends over, they're going to get more hemorrhoids. I was on hold for the last hour and a half.
Yeah. How's Grandma Boone doing, by the way?
Grandma Boone.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't have a clue, and I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Kind of like, you have to light him with a match?
Yeah.
Listen,
so what are you drinking this morning?
What's this?
It's only not even 11 o'clock in the morning. What is it?
Cuban coffee.
Cappuccino?
Cuban coffee.
With what in it?
Irish coffee.
Nothing.
Yeah, Irish coffee with lots of booze in it. Yeah.
Let's skip the Irish.
Yeah, okay. What do you want? Screw the Irish. What do you want?
Let's hang around with the Jew Germans.
Yeah, what do you want?
What do I want?
Yeah, what did you call for? What was the purpose of your incoherent call?
Question.
Yeah.
What's her name's coming back? Is she going to cancel again? It's been 3 times?
What are you talking about?
Reva. There's another concert
Is she
going on with Reva.
cancel again? Oh, in other words, you watch Guiding Light?
Is she going to cancel again?
Did you see the show yesterday?
No. I heard. I didn't see.
You heard what?
My radio doesn't have.
I'm not talking about this show. I'm talking about Guiding Light.
Oh,
Guiding Light.
No, I'm an 8. All my kids. The only one I watch.
So what are you asking me about Reva for?
Because she's coming back for another concert in Southern Boulevard,
Reva
West Palm.
McEntire.
Reva McEntire? What are you, some kind of a nose picker? Is Reva gonna crap out again?
Reva. Exactly.
Why do we give a flying crap about Reva McEntire?
Well, why?
You're probably one of those drunks that goes to the Garth Brooks concerts too.
Drunks or druggies?
Yeah,
why are you advertising it?
Advertising what?
Because we know she's going to cancel.
We're not advertising anything. We don't got no spots for no nose-picking concert on here.
It's on the recording tickets.
It's on the what?
Pick them up at Ticketmaster, or you can...
Yeah, I think you're going to pick it up by the end of the weekend.
Please be nice.
Okay. Well, listen, go have another drink.
Wait.
Yeah.
I haven't had one yet.
Come on, bodies up. Yeah.
Can I have one?
Can you wait?
Salute.
Can you wait?
Can I buy you one?
No thanks.
Stand up and salute.
Yeah, okay.
Montebusco.
Okay, up your nose. Not even 11 in the morning, and she's already smashed out of her freaking mind. How do you like that? And she wants to know if Reva's coming back. Thank God she don't watch the Guiding Light, or I'd know it's going off the air. One thing we've discovered again today especially is we got more deadheads out there per square inch. Here's Okeechobee. Hello.
Yeah, Neil.
Yeah.
We're sitting here in Okeechobee, sir.
Yeah.
The people up here are very offended by what you say.
About what?
Well, you know how you put down a lot of the people from Fort Pierce,
Yeah.
the Fort Pierce area.
Why, can't they handle the truth? Is that it? That they're a bunch of yahoos? They can't deal with it?
Well, sir, I mean, it just happens that a lot of the people up here are from, you know, up in the South.
Up in the South?
This is our...
Or down in the South?
This is our stomping ground.
Yeah.
I mean, this is our territory. This is where we have to ourselves, our own privacy.
Okay, well, good. Stay there. He's from Aintree. He ain't from wherever he said.
Hugh Grant's an actor who comes from the UK. Charming and pleasant in a quite friendly way. A sense of humor to make someone chuckle. Eyes so blue they cause women's knees to buckle. Hugh was caught by cops in Hollywood. They say that he was up to no good. Fans are now crying it caused a big mob when Hugh got a hooker and got a job. Get a hooker and get a job. In the backseat she went down on his. Cops broke it up, they saw her head bob when you got a hooker and got a job. English don't have sex, they drink too much tea. Unless you're part of the royal family. But Hugh Grant's not like that, he's no regal snob. So he got a hooker, he got a job. Get a hooker and get a job. In the backseat, she went down on his. Cops broke it up, they saw her head bob when you got a hooker and got a job. He got a job. Yeah, you got a job.
Are you a hooker? Jesus, I forgot. I just thought I was doing great with you.
It's the best of Neil Rogers.
Apple!
610 WIOD. It's the best of Neil Rogers, edited for broadcast to Puritans and fools.
So much Brian Norcross. Oh!
More women than ever are joining today's U.S. Army, and they're doing it for all kinds of reasons.
This is for Coach Barb, who kept me in the big game, and who kept me in the shower room after all the other girls went home. And for all the kids at school who voted me most likely to pour concrete. For my family, who used to say there wasn't anything a man could do that I couldn't do better. That stand when I pee. And most of all for myself, who's thrilled at the idea of sleeping in a barracks with 50 other women just like me.
If you can't be a man, be the next best thing. Be a woman in today's U.S. Army.
Let me ask you this question. Have you ever wondered why most dykes are so obvious? Couldn't be the haircut, could it? You think that's the tip-off is the haircut, the real short, the extra short butch haircut? Has anybody out there read this book by Vincent Bugliosi? I think it just came out in the bookstores just a few days ago, and I'm like about halfway through it. Outrage. If you read one book in your lifetime, if you have somebody else read it to you, which probably will be necessary in most of your cases, this should be the one. You should be racing to your bookstore right now, because you know the power that I got. Even though we can't get anybody to call, they're out there. Make no mistake about that. They're hanging on every turd and every word. They're going to be out there cleaning the shelves of the bookstores from this book, because trust me when I tell you, no matter how sick and tired you may have been in the OJ business, this has got all the stuff in there that the jury probably should have heard, although it shouldn't have been that jury. And also, by the way, the change of venue, moving the trial to downtown, biggest mistake in history, number one. And then number two, Marcia firing the consulting firm that they hired. See, both sides hire consultants, but she fired a consulting firm just before they picked the jury. And they had done all this study and all the... She laid a famous black man they admired. So guess what we wind up with mostly on the jury? Black women. Nice going, Marcia. Oh! All right. Now, of course, we go through all of the stuff, all the evidence that wasn't introduced, including the passport and the $8,700 in cash that fell out of Al Cowling's pockets, and the disguise and the ski mask and all the other stuff, which wasn't just rumor. It was all in there. The only problem is nobody ever heard it because the prosecution... And then, so what does the prosecution get after they blow this thing and they let a murderer walk free? They get all kinds of TV and book contracts, and they wind up being big celebrities. Hey, congratulations on being total incompetence, Chris Darden and Marcia Clark. Nice going.
Oh!
There's American Justice for you, baby. Vincent Bugliosi. You can pronounce it however you want, but you better damn well buy the book.
Yeah, it's Bela Lugosi, by the way. You and Rick were both wrong.
What are you talking about?
That was the silliest thing this morning.
About what?
The conversation about how to pronounce his name.
His name is Bugliosi.
Like he says it.
Right.
Exactly.
Like familia. That's an Italian word. You don't say famiglia. It was like Tatalia, which is really how you would pronounce it. You wouldn't say Tataglia, although it a couple of times during the movie because there are a bunch of non-Italian guys trying to pretend to be Italian because it's a movie, okay? It's friction. I mean, it is so clear-cut. And then, of course, for the handful of idiots out there that keep for either ethnic... And then the stuff about Fuhrman is pretty interesting, too. Did you know he dated a Hispanic girl and that he had a black partner in the cop car for a period of time that he got along with great, and also a Hispanic female that was his partner for, by his request? And got along with them all great. The only ethnic minorities he despised were scumbags. What a surprise that is, finding a cop that can't stand scumbags out there in the streets, whether they're black or Hispanic or white or whatever they are. Crapheads. But I'm not saying that he's a saint, but he sure isn't what the picture that they painted for you out there. But hey, that again is because of the great job that they did there in the prosecution. They were the best that money couldn't buy. They stunk the joint out. And Gil Garcetti throw his ass right in there, too, because when he let him put the thing in there downtown L.A., where the jury pool was bound to be overwhelmingly, or at least very high percentage of black, that was the end of it. They were just basically done right there. Here's Fort Pierce gone. Here is it's on 6. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
I have a lot to say about the O.J. Simpson situation.
Yes.
One thing, first of all, let me say this about this book that you've been expounding all morning.
Yes. Have you read it?
No, and I have no intention of reading it.
Why not?
Because, as far as I'm concerned, it's just a bunch of sensationalized, souped-up trash.
How do you know that?
Based on what I've heard this guy say, I've heard him debate O.J. Simpson's attorney on Geraldo one night.
Which attorney was that?
Dershowitz. They had
Alan Dershowitz, yes?
Yes. And as far as I said, it's just a bunch of souped-up trash. When I think
How do you know that if you haven't read the book?
Well, when I think of a book, I think of something that takes a lot of deep thought, some time and research. You just don't write a book overnight. Not only would not read his book, I would not read any other of anybody who was involved in this trial, because that is not a book.
Have you read the book Helter Skelter, which he wrote about his prosecution of Charles Manson? Have you read that book?
No, and I have no intention.
Why is that? Are you also a Charles Manson defender, too?
No. Well,
Probably not, because he was white. Isn't that what it's all about?
No, well, let me say this.
I find it fascinating that a black man from Fort Pierce makes the effort to call all the way down here because you want to trash a guy that wrote a book that you didn't read because it flies in the face of the facts.
Okay, well, let me
Another a black O.J. apologist.
Well, let me say this. Like most Jews and like most white people, you tend to think O.J. Simpson is guilty.
Oh, like most Jews. How do you know? Have you done a survey of the Jews?
And like most blacks, I tend to think the man is innocent.
How do you know that most Jews think he's guilty? Have you taken a survey?
Most of the ones that I've heard speaking concerning this trial.
Well, let me ask you something. Didn't you just quote to me Alan Dershowitz?
Uh-huh.
Is he Jewish?
Yes.
How about Robert Shapiro?
Oh, you don't know what he thinks. You never. He waffles back and forth. He defends the man.
Oh, so in other words, he helped to get him off, but he's not the good Jew. Okay, in other words, Dershowitz is the good Jew. Well, guess what?
He's a traitor.
There are a lot of people that think that Dershowitz also believes that he was guilty as hell.
Okay. Well, let me move on to my point.
So I guess maybe you're right. Most of us Jews think he was guilty.
Okay. Let me move on.
And most white people.
Yeah. Let me move on to my point. Had I been a juror, there's no way, based on the way this trial was presented, that O.J. Simpson that I could have found him guilty.
Yeah. Well, isn't that interesting? Because that's what Vincent Bugliosi says here, that the prosecution was incompetent.
Yeah, but let me move on.
But what?
Let me move on.
But you don't want to hear that, right?
Let me move on.
You don't want to be confused. You don't want to be confused with the facts. That's the problem, okay? You haven't read the book. You're not going to read the book because you don't want to be confused with the facts, which he lays out very eloquently and very clearly.
That's your opinion, sir.
No, it's not my opinion. It's in the book. I got the book. It's right in my hand right now in the book, too.
And you have good reading to you.
Yeah.
Let me say...
Good riddance to what?
I said good reading to you.
Oh, I see.
As I was saying, first of all, the prosecution never convinced me yet of a motive.
No, the fact that he threatened to kill her, we don't know how many times, plus the fact that he beat the crap out of her over and over again, that's not a motive. Of course not.
It is not a motive.
No. And the fact that he was insanely jealous and stalked her, that's not a motive. Of course not.
It's not a motive.
Right.
People do that all the time, and that doesn't necessarily
People beat the crap out of their wives all the time. That's right.
And that doesn't necessarily mean that they killed her.
Yeah.
No.
Are you also an apologist for that? The fact that he was a wife beater? Was that okay too?
Based on what I know and what I've heard, he only beat her maybe once.
No, wrong.
And if he did,
wrong.
No, I'm not apologizing, and I don't...
and what if he did only beat her once? Sir, did you watch any of the trial? Did you see the pictures of her black and blue? You think that those pictures were staged? You think they were airbrushed?
I watched very little of the trial.
Yeah, so in other words, you didn't read the book, you didn't watch the trial, but you know he was black and therefore he didn't do it. Okay, thank you so much. And you wonder why there's so much racism? They call it racism. I think it's just realism is what it is. If I had $1 for every really ignorant, dumb black person in America, I wouldn't have to be sitting here wasting my time talking to assholes like him every day. How about buying a book? How about getting smart? How about learning something instead of just acting based on gut reaction, okay? Based on ethnic need, and he starts out with that bit about the Jews and the whites. Oh, there was nothing in there, was there? Huh? The Jews, most of the Jews and the whites. Most of you people in Jaime Town, you think he was guilty. You know, all you people that gave all that money to the NAACP? Right.
Well, the Spics think he did it too.
Oh, how do you like that? And those damn Spics, they think he's guilty too.
It's the best of Neil Rogers.
I'm as mad as hell, and I
610 WIOD. Playing tapes of Neil Rogers because there's a hockey game on satellite and Neil's busy.
Oh, man.
Here's a mobile in Hollywood. Hello.
Yeah, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever considered the fact that he's innocent, and also that because of the...
Well, what does that mean? What kind of a question is that?
Well, because you're supposed to be proven guilty. And you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. So let's say he was innocent. And being a black man in America, you know that you're not going to get justice in this country.
So in other words... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Black people never get justice?
Well, not never. I can't
How
say
about
it.
black people that got $10 million to spend on their defense?
Well, let me make my point. First of all, the reason he was in that Bronco, the guy was more than likely scared to death that he wasn't going to get justice. So he figured the best thing to do was to skip town and to try and deal with it from another country.
Let me ask you this. If you were innocent, why would you be scared to death?
Well, you have to understand this. Being a black man in this country is just like every time you get pulled over. You're afraid.
Let me ask you this question. Is every black that's accused of a violent crime innocent?
Of course not.
So then what kind of crap are you talking, man?
I'm talking the same kind of crap that you're talking if you would just listen for a second. All I'm saying to you is the explanation is very valid why he was in that van. It's very simple.
How about the explanation of how his blood was at the crime scene, huh? How about an explanation of the...
Shut up. Mark Fuhrman, shut up. Come on.
Mark Fuhrman set up. How did he do that? How did he do that?
He did it very simply.
Yeah, very simply. Yeah.
When he
waved the magic wand. Yeah.
No, when he got the blood.
How did he get the blood inside O.J.'s house?
Very simply, when they went into his house and jumped the fence, they had access to his whole house.
Yeah.
That was very easy. So all he had to do, Fuhrman knew that, in his mind, he knew O.J. was guilty. So what he figured was this: I'm gonna make sure this guy gets nailed for this. So what he decided to do, he was going to go ahead.
You know, there's a very interesting story in this book, which I'm sure you won't read,
I've read the book.
About the black defendant that Fuhrman made sure that he knew was not guilty, and he made sure that the evidence was introduced to get him off because he knew he hadn't committed the crime. So what was it, that Mark Fuhrman only was selectively racist? He only didn't like O.J.? Is that what you're telling me? But other black guys, he helped them to get off when they weren't guilty?
Whoever was available to help him nail that black guy, yes. Whether he was another black guy or whatever.
Well, what does that mean? What did you just say? What do those words that you just uttered mean? What does that mean?
It's very simple.
No, you keep saying it's very simple, but you're talking caca. You're talking double talk.
Whoever Fuhrman needed to help him, whether he's black or not, yes. He used another black guy
to help him do what?
What you
just
said.
Understand your point.
Yeah, let me ask you the name of the book, sir. What's the name of the book?
I didn't read the book.
You just got through saying you read the book.
I like you do.
Yeah, you're full of crap. You're just another militant coon is what you are, man. I'm so sick and tired of guys like you. Let me say it again. There's black people who are thinking people, and then there's dumb coons, okay? Just like in every other ethnic group. I'm sick and tired of walking this fine line. I'm telling it exactly the way I feel about it. I'm sick and tired of that element of the so-called black community who are nothing but a bunch of professional walking ethnics, okay? Get the chip off your shoulder and use your brain. Use your brain if you can find one. And he tells me he read the book. He wouldn't know how to read the book. He wouldn't know where to go to find it. Or the book. Man, am I sick of this crap. The coonizing of America, baby. That's what we got unfolding right in front of our face, right in front of our eyes. Is this taking dumb, uneducated people and trying to have to bring ourselves down to that level, okay? And you see it in sports, you see it in every aspect of American life, and I'm fed up right to my ears with it, okay? I've had it. Am I getting my point across or what? And the thing that really gets me, because the only time we ever get many black callers on here is once you start with something like this OJ crap and they get the, get all bent out of shape because it's an ethnic thing to them, as opposed to like, common sense, as opposed to justice. And the thing that really makes it bizarre is when you read like pages 142 through 145 and hear about Jim Brown, a former football player who is very much involved in black causes. He would be the first one to tell you that O.J. has never been at any time in his life involved in black causes or helping the black community. And Johnny Cochran gets up there in his summation and goes on about how, he even gave a bunch of money to the Angel City Lynx. $5,000 a year to the Angel City Lynx, the inner city black organization. And of course, Vincent Bugliosi had to turn like heads. He had to go crazy to try to find out what the Angel City Lynx was. Well, guess what? It's a sorority that his daughter was involved in. It had nothing to do with helping people in the inner city. It had nothing to do with black causes. And when Bugliosi asked Jim Brown, would he go to O.J. and ask him for help for any of these black causes, he said, I never waste my time going to people that I know what the response is going to be. And yet somehow you think that he was this great hero, this great black activist, this great, I don't know what. He was an Uncle Tom, and yet because of the fact that his skin color is black, right away, even with his $10 million, he could never get a fair shake. He got more than a fair shake. He got away with double murder is what he got away with. Plain and simple, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah, there's this whole thing with blacks in America, and that is that when people become very successful, whether it's Albert Bell or O.J. Simpson or Gary Sheffield or whoever it is making millions and millions of dollars, there's still this attitude problem. Like, what the hell more do you want? Somebody gave you an opportunity. Somebody gave you a chance with very limited, just based on athletic skills and very little between your ears, to become a very wealthy person. Now, what the hell more do you want? What's with the attitude? What's with this incessant, black people just can't make it. They can't get a fair shake. How about fags? How about Jews? How about spics? How about everybody else? Is everybody else crying all the time that they can't get a fair shake? I think people are sick and tired of all the belly aching and the crying and want to start seeing people apply themselves with a brain. Like read a book, get smart, get some intelligence, and then go out. And that's why all this affirmative action crap is going down the toilet. Exactly. If you want to compete for a job, bring something like qualifications to it. Don't tell me how you've been oppressed all this time and how you've been put upon, because I'm sick and tired of hearing about that crap. Give me somebody that's got some talent, then I might give them a job. Maybe, if they look good. Here's Miami. Hello.
How you doing?
Buenos dias.
You just nail it, and it's incredible. Because I guess you have the power to do it on your radio show, and nobody else has the balls in this town to come out and nail it like it is.
Nobody has the guts to say it because they're afraid they're going to sound like a bigot. I just like decent people. Is there something wrong? I like decent people. People that are scumbags, they can kiss my ass.
I agree with you. It's just if you come out and you say what's honestly the truth, and maybe that the black community has some problems.
They got some real serious problems.
Lawrence Phillips, Mike Tyson, all these whole thing down
Sammy
at UM.
Smith, Mark Duper, it's just going. We're talking about people that have been given an opportunity to make millions of dollars, an opportunity that most black and white and yellow and any other people never have in their lifetime, and these people have had things handed to them, and they've still blown it.
Well, the thing that drives me crazy is, you look at Danny Rawlings, Ted Bundy. We're not out there saying those guys were innocent.
Right, and I'm not screaming that John Wayne Gacy was framed because he was a fag, okay?
Right.
I've said this for years. I don't understand this. Or how about David Berkowitz? He was Jewish, so am I sitting here as a Jew yelling and screaming that he was discriminated against because he was a Jew? What kind of cockeyed thinking is this?
Well, if it was a white Jew judge who let Brian Blades off, so I just hope your black callers remember that.
Yeah, that bitch. Oh, he never had a fair chance. That's a good point. How come all of a sudden he's out there jumping high and running fast?
Well, whatever. It's just amazing to me. If you come out and even if you listen to the media, Neil, and listen to the radio shows, if it's a white guy that gets beat up by a black guy, it's buried. If for some reason a white cop goes after some black guys, it's front page news.
A week ago we had this grotesque series, and I'm not saying that blacks are the only one who commit violent crimes, but we had this grotesque series of crimes that were committed over the past weekend, and 99% of them were all committed by black people, including the guy that shot his daughter. He was playing with his piece in the bathroom, and a gun went off, and then he tried to say that his 10-year-old girl shot herself, and then he admitted that he was the one that did it, and the two kids that got murdered at Pizza Hut, including the one kid whose family took him in when he had no place to go. They took him in off the streets.
Well, what about the black guy who walked into the trailer over there in Broward and shot all the white guys, and it was a racist thing, but it got buried in the paper? You only saw one article on that whole event in that trailer where those guys got blown away by a black guy and a white guy.
Well, I think you're being a racist now, man.
It's easy to say that because, if you say the truth, until you take
You're not supposed to say the truth. This is America. You're supposed to sugarcoat everything so you don't offend anybody. That's what America's all about.
Until they take the covers off their eyes and realize we all bleed red, we're all the same. you've had enough time to sort of come up to society and meet us there. I think you nailed it right after the trial. You said they don't want to sit in the back of the bus or the front. They just want to sit on their own side.
There you go.
See ya.
Have a great day, pal.
All right.
And as soon as that guy from Fort Pierce started with, all you Jews and whites think he's guilty. All you Jews. There we go. I wonder where he heard that crap, huh? Couldn't be from Jesse Jackson or Louis Farrakhan, and we had a million idiots out there following a guy. That's like the guy that gives me that crap about Tony from Kendall, about how I'm a bigot. I can't think of any religion more bigoted than the Muslims, man. Look at the way that they treat women, for example. There's a great job. Let's keep them in the Stone Age. In the Stone Age. One of the most Neanderthal religions of all, but because I don't think he ought to be sitting on his ass during the national anthem when he's getting paid millions of dollars a year to shove a basketball in a hoop, then I'm a bigot, I'm a bad guy. I think America has had it with this crap. I think that the majority of people are sick and tired of everybody running around with an ethnic chip on their goddamn shoulder, and I say that for myself, and screw you guys. Am I getting my point across or what?
Oh, man. It's the best of Neil Rogers, semi-unplugged. 610 WIOD, with the best of Neil Rogers on tape, which is better than Larry King when he was alive. I killed Nicole.
Wait till you... Now, this is right from the book, page 135, from the Vincent Bugliosi book, which the people, of course, who've got their minds closed would never read because it might rattle their cage a little bit. They don't want anything introduced into their brain, if they can find one, that might challenge the preconceived notions that they got. It said what has to rank as one of the most startling utterances to come from the prosecutors in the Simpson case was William Hodgman, the senior member of the prosecution team, telling the Los Angeles Times after the verdict that he and his co-prosecutors had information about how Mark Fuhrman as a detective was a very professional detective, that in a number of instances he worked to clear suspects who happened to be African American when new evidence exonerating them came out. But, Bill, if you had evidence like this, don't you think it would have been a good idea to share it with the jury, Bugliosi asks? He says, I was able to confirm one of these instances. On October 6th, 1994, in West Los Angeles, Sean Stewart, a white male, was shot to death on the street in a drug deal gone sour. Witnesses identified Eric Harris, a 30-year-old black male with a criminal history as the killer, and Fuhrman, the lead detective on the case, secured a criminal complaint against Harris for murder. Before the preliminary hearing, Fuhrman got information that somebody else was the killer. After going out and investigating further, he formed the opinion that Harris was innocent. His partner, Ron Phillips, told me that Fuhrman worked extremely hard on the case to establish that Harris was not involved. I remember Mark telling me, Ron, we've got to prove this guy didn't do it before the prelim or he's going to sit in jail for a murder he didn't commit. He even got the DA to request a continuance of the prelim so we could have more time to work on the case. Fuhrman proved Harris's innocence. This is the black guy. He proved his innocence, and the district attorney's office had the case dismissed before the preliminary hearing. Phillips said he furnished the prosecutors in the Simpson case with all of the above information, but guess what? They didn't introduce it. With the revelations about Fuhrman on the Fuhrman tapes being perceived by everyone as devastating to the prosecution's case, it's almost criminal that the prosecution never introduced evidence like this to the jury. Here's Miami. Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Neil?
Yes.
Yeah, hi, Neil. Listen, the statement you made before about affirmative action was right on the money.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that. But I don't agree on the OJ trial, you know.
You don't agree with what?
Well, a lot of things. You know, I happen to have been free that time. I was watching the whole trial. I'm white, and I'm 60 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'm one of the rare people in the world. And the guy was right. A lot of my Jewish friends, male friends, do believe that he was guilty.
Yeah.
You know.
So what does that mean?
It means a lot.
Two of his attorneys were Jewish. You know the only reason he made the comment about Jews?
Well, I mean, his attorneys are being paid, you know.
Let me say it again. The only reason that the caller you're referring, stop breathing so heavy into the phone, please. The only reason that he made that comment is because he's an anti-Semite. And yet he's crying about bigotry.
Listen,
sir?
I watched the trial 90% of the time.
Yeah.
You know, and I came to a lot of conclusions on my own. Did you watch when the criminalist from Connecticut, the Chinese guy, talked about the blood?
Yeah.
And about terminal velocity?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
What about it?
Well, that wasn't dramatic.
What about it?
First of all, there's tons of blood at the murder scene, and there's only microscopic drops of blood around the other places.
Yeah. Well, because most of the blood around the murder scene is from the victims. Do I have to spell that out for you?
Yeah, but the blood found in O.J.'s driveway was drops of blood identical to the test drops he made in court. Terminal velocity. If a drop of blood was dropped from 4 inches or 6 inches from the ground, it would make a small drop.
Let me ask you this question. Oh, so in other words, you're going to give me the story about conspiracy again, how he was framed?
How else?
How else what?
Where is the blood? Even the guys who checked the truck the next day, they said, "Where's the blood?"
Let me
it's
ask
like
you
the
something.
lady with "Where's the beef?"
Have you read this book?
I'm very well read. I don't have to...
Sir, I'm not interested in how articulate, how brilliant, how pseudo-intellectual you are. Have you read this book in which Mr. Bugliosi goes down point by point, every one of the witnesses, in which he goes down and addresses each of these issues? Have you read the book?
That's my opinion. To me, is
I'm asking you a question, sir, that requires... I don't give a flying crap right now. You already told us your opinion. I'm asking you a question. Have you read the book?
I read some snippets of his book, but I didn't read his book. I don't read everybody's book. I mean, Bugliosi's out to make money like everybody else.
Yeah.
So I mean,
like Bob Shapiro and like Johnny Cochran, right?
So the reference the guy made before about Bugliosi and Fuhrman, who was trying to get this black person off because he felt he was innocent.
Yeah.
You know. So what's the big deal? You haven't haven't had animosity toward the black...
So the big deal is that if he was such a racist, if he was the Hitler, which is what Johnny Cochran called him in his summation, if he was that much of a racist, that much of a white supremacist, why would he do that for
he's not a racist to that nth degree.
How do you know that? Then what are you saying? Then what is he you're telling
He's
me?
like everybody else who has that little racism in them.
Then why would he go? Well, why would he go to such great lengths to set up O.J. Simpson?
A lot of people
Sir, let me ask you again. If he wasn't a racist, why would he set up O.J.? Did he lose a bet on a football game or something?
The man is a racist, but he can't stand rich black men with white women. I know that.
Yeah.
From what I read.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the cops who was...
Let me ask you this question. O.J. claimed that he was cut himself in Chicago, right?
Who knows about that cut?
You just got through telling me that you watched almost the entire trial, and I asked you one question, and and you give me who knows about it. Isn't that what he said?
He says he cut himself in Chicago. Well, the hotel, they did verify that the glass was broken.
And let me ask you this.
Slammed the glass.
Let me ask you this. If that's the case, how come in his statement to the police, which he made without the presence of his attorney, in the statement, which is, by the way, in its entirety in the back of the book, his statement to the police, which was never introduced into evidence, he says he cut himself puttering around the house, rushing around to pack to go to Chicago the night before. Now, which is the truth and which is the lie, sir?
There are some holes there. I agree.
Yeah.
You know,
some holes.
But, I mean, basically,
there are some holes.
There's a lot
like
of
the
things.
big one in the middle of your forehead. Don't confuse me. He's very well read. He's very well educated, but he hasn't read it, so don't confuse him with the facts because it's going to fly in the face of the conclusions and the contusions that he's already come to, okay? Guilty as hell. 2 brutal, unacceptable acts, 2 vicious murders of 2 people in the prime of their lives, whether you like them or you dislike them, and of course one of them was Jewish, so, you know, what's the big deal, right? Man, you talk about ignorance out there, and I rest my case, which Bugliosi doesn't agree with me, this business of the jury system, of people taking a bunch of dummies off the street and letting them make life and death decisions over innocent, many times innocent people, unacceptable. How'd you like to have a jury composed of the last dozen people we've talked to on here? The guy from Boston, the guy from Fort Pierce, this jackball right now, who's got some holes in his head and holes in his story like this piece of Swiss cheese, but don't confuse him with the fact that you don't got time to...
If Neil calls you an asshole, you're in good company. WIOD, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. News, Talk, and Entertainment Radio. 610 WIOD.
Good afternoon. At 1 o'clock, I'm Jennifer Rim with 610 WIOD News. I'm Jennifer Rim, News, Talk, and Entertainment Radio, 610 WIOD.
Neil, God.
Okay.
Neil, God.
Your attention, please. We can't be responsible for what you're about to hear because we haven't heard it yet either. Neil's on vacation, so here's the best of Neil Rogers on News, Talk, and Entertainment Radio, 610 WIOD.
Yeah, so there, George. Right, exactly. We're both eating, okay, so don't bother us.
The worst talk radio I've ever heard in my life was on WIOD.
Yeah, well, blow it out your ass, too, okay? Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello?
Hey, Neil.
Yes,
I watched most of the trial, and I, too, think they didn't have enough evidence to convict him. The other thing is
they didn't have enough evidence, or they didn't produce enough evidence?
I think they produced a lot. Some of it...
No, they did not.
Some of it made up.
No, they did not.
I believe the jury...
Let me say it again. No, they did not, which is why I'm reading this book in the first place.
Well, the book's based on the premise that the prosecution ran a
crappy...
a rotten case.
That's right.
You can't blame that on the jury.
Who's blaming the jury?
Well, you do. You said a bunch of idiots 10 minutes ago.
I got through saying that most Americans are idiots. I'm saying, who would you entrust?
Well, I don't know. Do you want to entrust a judge like LeBeau? How do you want this system to work?
I want it to run like they do in England, where they have professional jurors, not a bunch of jackasses off the street.
Like LeBeau?
What?
Like LeBeau?
I said professional jurists, not some jackass
Where are we
bitch.
going to come up with those?
What do you mean where are we going? How about if we educate some people, okay? We sure got enough lawyers running around.
Yeah, too many.
Well, there you go.
Let me ask you something else. What about when they, you're a civil rights guy. What about when they jumped over?
What do you mean I'm a civil rights guy? What does that mean?
You believe in rights for people in this country.
Yeah.
What about when they jumped over his fence without a search warrant? Where are you on that one?
What do you mean, where am I on that one? I think they had every right to jump over the fence.
You think you can just enter somebody's house and search it?
If they thought that perhaps his life was in jeopardy, which is what they said, they're damn right they had a right to go in there.
Somebody's life was in jeopardy. My goodness. You're really disappointing.
Well, did you watch you just got through telling me you watched the trial.
Yes.
How do you know that? They just killed his wife. Somebody just killed his wife.
Somebody killed his wife. They say nobody's home.
Yeah.
They jump over and they do a complete search without a warrant.
And suppose his body is laying. Suppose his body is lying there in the backyard. Suppose he's bleeding to death.
They caught the police officers lying about what they told the judge in order to jump the fence.
Yeah.
What about that?
What about it?
Well.
So in other words, let's let him off on a technicality. Let's start worrying about civil rights. How about the civil rights of the two people that got butchered up? How about their civil rights?
It's no technicality. The jury said he was innocent. And you're second-guessing now and saying he can't live his life.
I'm second-guessing that the jury, that we had one of the jurors stand up and give the Black Power salute to O.J. when they announced the verdict.
Well, so what do you want, a judge?
What do you want?
Well,
what do you want? I want a bunch of people to sit down, including the black women.
You didn't watch the trial.
Sure I did.
How could you watch it with your little show going on?
We were watching it. In other words, they didn't recap it every night. They didn't show hours and hours of it.
Recap didn't show.
So in other words, to know anything, I would have sat here and had to watch the whole trial to formulate an opinion,
right? Well, you can't do it by reading all those books.
No. Had to watch the whole trial.
Well, you had to watch a good part of it, you bet.
Yeah, how much?
2/3, a lot of the evidence.